Thank you so much. I hope you are having a great start to the conference, a great day. I'm enjoying, so I hope you are doing too. Um, those of you, if I haven't met you already, my name is Parul Sinha. Give me 1 second, the slides are not advancing. Okay, it did now? Yes. All right, so if we haven't met already, my name is Parul Sinha. I'm a software engineer at Adobe, and I work at the Commerce Community Engineering team. I lead and manage a team that processes community contributions. And I also serve as a community manager for commerce. Aside my day job, I'm deeply involved in Adobe's D&I initiatives. I'm heading Women at Adobe Employee Network for Austin site, which is a group of about 130 plus women and allies. And heading this network is actually very close to my heart. You would see a logo up there on the top right side. That's our Women at Adobe logo. So that's me. Oh, I'm pressing the bottom one. Sorry about that. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So ever since my association with Magento technology, which began way back in 2016, I have sensed a presence of a very strong and close-knit community. When I step into events like this, I see some familiar faces, some new faces, some people who are running their business on this technology for years, right? They have been in this game for years. And some who are just getting started. So while preparing this content, I tried to focus on having something for each one of you, regardless of where you are in your journey with Magento Open Source technology. We are committed to build a community that gets stronger by each passing day. So just so you know, you have a lot of power in you as a community. You can influence Adobe's roadmap for Magento Open Source. How do you do that? So today I'm going to go over that topic. Basically, we kicked off this process about a year ago, community-led prioritization model, which empowers each one of you to have a say in what gets merged into our code base and gets released. The process is actually very simple. You need to log in into your GitHub account and then go to Magento 2 repository, take a look at all the open pull requests, and I tell you, we have a ton of them. There are many. Take a look at them, and the ones that the ones that you find value in, the ones that you feel are important, upvote them by using thumbs up reaction on that PR. So what we do is that we open up window once a month, and sometimes it's twice a month. So when you upvote the pull requests, at the end of the voting window, we check all the pull requests and we sort them based on the votes, and then we pick a batch. And all the pull requests in that batch, they are marked with a purple label, community picked. So that's the batch that we take on for processing. Our team works on that and make sure that we take it to the final set, and then we process it, test it, and then merge it into the code base, and then that gets available in our core release. So it's very powerful, you see that, right? And you can track the progress of all these pull requests that we pick under this process on the community dashboard. So this community dashboard is accessible for everybody. It's open for all, and you can track the progress in real time. Pretty simple now. So communications that we share for the opening of voting window, that is through social media channels as well as on Slack. And we publish a monthly update on the progress of the set that we have picked, as well as the consolidate view. Whatever PRs have been picked so far under this process, all the progress is shared every month. We kicked off this process with 10 pull requests, and today we have over 160 pull requests that are part of this process. Majority of the merge pull requests that you see they have already been delivered in terms of our beta releases and already available to the community to use. This process is based on collaboration from the community, and we aim to provide full transparency while sharing the progress. So what I would say is this initiative is actually a win-win for both sides, right? I mean, in one hand, we empower the community. You choose what we work on, what we deliver, what you see in the code base. And on the other hand, on Adobe's side, we are focusing on resources and time which is of most value to the community. So I wanted to highlight some of the pull requests that we processed under this community-led prioritization model. My original list was way longer than this, but I'm sticking to just 3 in the interest of the time. So the first one that you see at the top, this was the most voted, this got the top votes from the community. I think 60+ votes it got. And this one supports additional classes as used in Tailwind CSS. So I believe Tailwind CSS is pretty popular in community then. The second one is a performance boost for index management. When using the bulk operation to update index mode, if a selected index is already in that mode, then it gets excluded from the operation. And this contribution also improves the confirmation message given in more details, like how many were skipped, which were already in that mode. So it's a real performance booster. The third one that you see up there, that gives ability to exclude cron groups. So additionally, the contributor has also made that exclude group flag stackable, so you can define it multiple times. This improvement becomes very important when you have a large number of SKUs in your store. And this PR is not just important in terms of the functionality that it delivers, but what I want to highlight is that it's also special in terms of collaboration. If you go through the comments on this PR, you would see how all parties involved are collaborating together to fix the dreaded test failures. And there's so much collaboration and respect from both sides. So that's the reason I chose this PR. And I'm really happy to announce that starting this February, we are including Page Builder repo as well to the community-led prioritization process. Page Builder makes it easy to create content-rich pages with custom layouts. And this was a popular demand from the community. Every time I used to share an update about community-led prioritization model, somebody or the other would ask, when are we going to include Page Builder? So we were like, OK, we are working on it. So yeah, now you can not only vote on Magento 2 pull requests, but you can also upvote this Page Builder repository. And I added the link to the Page Builder repository at the bottom of the slide. So I'm really happy to see the power and effectiveness this process has, and we would love to amplify the force that executes it. So currently, we have some help from our community maintainers who help in reviewing PRs, but we are really looking forward to the community council that Matthias talked about while he was giving the Magento Association update, because then Adobe and Magento Association can work together, and then we can process much more than we are able to do now. So I'm really looking forward to formation of that council. Okay, let's talk about our release schedule. So last year, we announced some changes in our core products release strategy. This year, we have 5 security patches planned, and these patches are provided for 3 years, starting from the GA date. The new support term applies to Adobe Commerce 2.4.4 and later release. So for example, version 2.4.5, which was released in August 2022, that will have release and security support until August 2025. And starting June of last year, we are releasing public betas, which is available to everyone prior to GA. and it includes security, compliance, performance, community contributions, and high-priority quality fixes. These beta releases are distributed in the same way as Adobe Commerce releases, like Composer meta packages on repo.magento.com, and the source code is available on GitHub. So if you're trying out beta packages to submit any issue that you see in the beta packages, please use our regular issue reporting flow on GitHub, and I'll cover that also in a second in a little bit detail. So our internal teams will monitor all the issues reported against this beta release, and we will prioritize them and make sure that they are resolved before GA. So if you take a look at our 2024 release schedule, we have a security patch release coming up in 2 weeks. The team is really hard at work, but we are feeling very confident about it. We'll hit the date. And then we have 247 beta 3 coming in March. So for that, the code freeze is approaching really fast. And again, the team is really hard at work. We really want to process as much community contributions as we can so that we can get it out in our 247 beta 3. And then in April, we have our big release coming out, Adobe Commerce 2.4.7. And then in the second half of the year, we will release as per our plan. But I would highly encourage you all to check on Experience League and also to the communications that we send out. If there's any change in the release schedule for the second half of the year, I'll make sure that it's communicated to you well in advance. All right. So what is coming in our 247 core release? We are really excited about it. And so I'm giving you, a sneak peek at that. We have a lot of improvements coming up in platform health, performance, and scalability, and also in other areas. So 247 is coming with PHP 8.3 support. 8.2 may be used till its end of service in November 2025. But after that, once that reaches its end of support, we recommend that you hop on to PHP 8.3. It's still possible to upgrade to 247 while you're on PHP 8.1, but it has not been tested, and so it's not recommended and officially supported by Adobe. And please note that Adobe Commerce 247 is not compatible with PHP 7.4. So if you are on that version, you may want to think about upgrading sooner than later. Then core Composer dependencies and third-party libraries have been upgraded to their latest available versions. Outdated JavaScript libraries like Moment.js, jQuery UI library, they have been upgraded to their latest versions. There's increase in GraphQL coverage for custom attributes and GraphQL resolver caches. And it also introduces support for recently updated services for shipping carriers like UPS, USPS, and FedEx. Then this release also includes Magento Open Source extension meta package, which will automatically bundle the payment services extensions with its core release. So whether you're a small business or you're a mid-market contender or you're a large enterprise, with this release, we are hoping that you're able to reduce your operational overhead, increase revenue, and you have useful tools that will make your entire shopper experience better. A quick note, some of these features that you see listed here may not apply to Magento Open Source, but I wanted to show you the full thing because I wanted you to have full visibility of the product that we have. And this one, it shows a metrics of system requirements compatibility for 247. Please pay attention to the end of service dates for each of the components here. I hope that by sharing all this information will help you prepare for the upgrade better. And we always encourage you and recommend you to use the latest secure version of Adobe Commerce Platform components for the best experience and to stay PCI compliant. All right, so in my interactions during these events and outside these events, oftentimes I have come across this question that all this sounds really great and exciting, and I want to contribute to this Magento Open Source, but where do I start? So in the next few slides, I've tried to cover the areas of opportunities where you can contribute to this technology. The first one is pretty basic. You need to have some experience with PHP language because you require certain skill sets if you want to work with this technology. So good understanding of PHP language and object-oriented concepts is actually must before diving in. Additionally, you should also have knowledge of front-end technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. For development and debugging, you could use any IDE of your choice, but we use PHP Storm very widely because of the plugins and tools that it supports that makes your life very easy as a Magento Open Source developer. And having knowledge of source code control system like GitHub is really important to be able to make contributions. Commerce certifications are a great way to learn and showcase your expertise. We have certifications available for all levels. No matter whichever stage you are at your career, you have certifications available. So I highly recommend checking it out. And certifications are valid for 2 years, and most certifications can be renewed for free. So to see if your Adobe Commerce certification is expiring soon, you could log in into the Adobe Credential Manager to check the expiration date, and you can plan accordingly. So this is a resource. I'm not sure many people are aware about it, so I just wanted to share it with you all. The next one, there are a ton of commerce courses available, and I want to give a heads up that we have a Commerce Professional Developer course coming very soon. I think it's in March. So again, look out from my communications. I'll make sure that I include this as soon as we have more details about the course. I will include it in my communication to the community. Okay, so once you have attained the skills and understanding of the platform, you are ready to rock and roll. You may find things when you start working with the platform, you may find things that are not working correctly. You may have some ideas to improve a certain functionality. You could report those as issues. So when you click on that new issue button, so first of all, you got to go to the repository on GitHub, and then you would see that new issue button. If you click on that, that will prompt you to a series of questions so that you could describe your issue in detail. And we have a weekly community triage to triage these issues. They are every Tuesday. What I want to say is that if you're interested, you could join that triage meeting as per your convenience and be a part in triaging the issues that are reported. It's open for all. And I have put the link at the bottom of the slide. That link will take you to the community calendar where you will find the dial-in details. So again, make use of this opportunity, be a part of the triage call and see, how we are working. If you're interested in code contributions, you could do so through pull requests. So contributions can take a form of new components or features, changes to existing features, bugs, optimizations, or maybe just some good suggestions. So we use fork and pull model to contribute to the Magento open source code base. This method allows to have your own copy of the forked code base, which can easily be synced with the main copy. And the forked repository is then used to submit a pull request to the base repository. So that's how it works, fork and pull. Now, the community engineering team reviews all the issues and contributions that are submitted by the community. Oftentimes, we go back and forth with the contributor to either get more details, or sometimes we request changes to adhere to, let's say, the coding standards, or if it's a feature, then we need to go back to the product, and then we have some conversations. Now, we really appreciate the fact that somebody took out time from their schedule and made that contribution, but oftentimes we also deal with pretty rude comments. So I want to request everyone to be respectful, while having that conversation on GitHub. I tell my team that, the words may seem harsh, but let's assume that the intention is good. But at the same time, I would say that, English is not primary language for many of us in the community. So we may not have the best choice of words, but what we can focus on is having a respectful conversation. I think that will work for everyone. Because at the end of the day, we all are working for the same thing, right? Making our platform better. Okay, and I mentioned that we are getting some help from our community maintainers in reviewing the pull request. So who are these community maintainers? These maintainers are highly skilled people with extensive experience with our platform, and they are Adobe trusted. So we grant them a set of special permission with which they are able to perform code reviews, and they are able to determine if a code contribution is adhering to our standards and is good to proceed to testing. So we meet once a month, and we are very appreciative of this group of people for taking out their time and collaborating with us. Another area of opportunity is to develop extensions and apps. So Commerce Marketplace is home to 3,000 plus extensions available from a global community of contributors and extension builders. And apps are basically custom modules that adds new functionality to the core product. Extensions and apps, their submission are managed from Commerce Developer Portal that you see up there. All submitted extensions go through a rigorous process of testing before being listed on Commerce Marketplace. There's another type of submission that Marketplace is accepting, which is called apps. These apps are created with App Builder that run out of process, meaning that they run within the App Builder infrastructure instead of running within a Commerce instance. So these apps are written in JavaScript, preferably Node.js, and therefore their technical requirements for review will differ from that of an extension or any other type of submission on Marketplace. However, to submit an app, you must be associated with Adobe Enterprise or Adobe Commerce partner community. So, and from the developer portal, you can access your submission, you can see the reports, and you can get all the information about your submission. I'm going to breeze through some of the slides because I see Ina is looking at me, and I don't have a lot of time left, but there's a lot to cover. So let me breeze through the slides. And if you have any questions about these, you can always find me. I'll be at near the Adobe booth. So documentation, they are an integral part of our platform, and it has been a while since we rehomed our beloved dev docs. But I want to take a few minutes to explain the organization of the documents so that you don't have any trouble in finding them. We have developer.adobe.com, which is focused on developer documentations such as architecture guides, coding standards, API-related docs, contributor guides, developer tools, etc. And then we have Experience.ly, where the documentation is focused for merchants and system administrators and covers topic that explains features that can enable a basic store. Commerce documentations are collaborative, which means that they are based on open source principles that uses GitHub. So this model actually helps in making the documentation better, which means that we have everyone collaborating, the users, the documentation team, the products team, everyone, right? Which means that on every page, you can rate the content usefulness, you can log issues, and you can also contribute to the documentation through pull requests. So I have highlighted, with circle on the slide, like you have the buttons that you get, the options that appear for you to submit your feedback. In case of Experience.ly, they are a little hidden. So you need to click on that detailed feedback option, and then you get the suggestions to edit so that you can go to GitHub and submit your pull request. If you would like to participate in the documentation-related conversations, feel free to use the DevDocs channel under the Magento Open Source workspace. And we have Jeff, who leads the documentation efforts, and he'll be really happy to answer any questions that you may have. In addition to the prioritization process that we have, there are other ongoing initiatives that will strengthen our community. So I'm quickly going to go over that. The first one is the monthly community newsletters. So these carries updates from both Magento Open Source and Adobe Commerce. The easiest way is you could go to the forum, which is community.magento.com, go to the news and announcements tab, and then hit subscribe. So that way, these newsletters will land into your inbox. The other way is just follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. I publish these newsletters every month. Like I send a link, I share the link on the social media every month. So that's the other way you can do it. And then we have blog posts and Slack where we collaborate. And also we have meetups. So Adobe sponsors a pro account on meetup.com. We have 66 groups based on the geolocation, which is spread across 24 countries. So if you would like to host a meetup in your area or region, there's a probability that you already have a group. And if the group is there, just get in touch with me. I'll be happy to put you in touch with the organizer of that meetup group so that you have all the support that you need. And if not, then we can work together and create a new group for your region. We recently added a new meetup group for Dubai. And our community thrives because we have people contributing in so many different ways. I want to take a moment to recognize them. We have people who are solving customers' problems with their innovative solutions. And then we have those who pose technical questions on social media and initiate conversation around our product. Then we have people who undergo Adobe Commerce trainings and certifications, and then they share feedback with the community. And then we have people who are creating their own learning content and sharing with the community. So I want to thank each one of you. And then the events. So we can imagine the kind of effort it takes to run events like this. So thank you to the Meet Magento organizers spread across the globe, the sponsors, the speakers, the attendees, for your passion and collaboration. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Magento Association for working towards their goal of having an open, healthy, and powerful Magento open source ecosystem. Thank you all so much for being here today and being part of this amazing community and strengthening our ecosystem each day. If there's any question you have, I'll be around Adobe booth. We can talk about it. Thank you. And Ina, sorry for taking a couple of minutes more.